Welcome back to FFB, amigos. And today, Chelsea lose to Aston Villa in the Premier League match, which this one was a rough one because I was excited. When at first I was not excited, incredibly disappointed. We're going through a rough patch, but I love Chelsea, man. And as we started approaching the game, I started getting excited. I got excited when I saw the lineup. I saw changes. That's all that mattered. A new formation, new hope. Late, but we're changing. We're trying something when things are not working out. And that made me very excited because I love Chelsea. But what is love? Chelsea, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Stop hurting me, Chelsea. That was rough. That was a rough one today. In any case, like I said, it started feeling out. When the game started, I was feeling really excited. I saw what appeared was going to be a 3-5-2 or a 5 in the back or a line of 3 because we saw James and we assumed he would play as a right back or as a right center back. But that's not really what happened. But I was excited in any case because something new was happening. I was upset and I wasn't happy that we were going to see Nkunku again because he's really not doing very well. But I thought, fine, they're going to relegate him to the left, but it didn't pan out that way. We had a little bit of excitement at first, and I want to start with that first thing. The first thing that matters, Pedro Neto, Pedro, 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 P. Pedro, 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 P. Him and as always Caicedo, one badass MNFer. And we'll get into some of the other players, but he had an amazing game. I liked what he did. I don't like that we rotated in and out of the 9 position, which he ended up playing as the 9, because when he was there, he was very effective, and he did what we were waiting to do, runs. But the thing is, when he wasn't playing the 9 and he dropped to the right, or not to the left, he dropped mostly to the right, sort of take up that winger spot sometimes to overlap or go wider than Palmer, who's playing on the right. He destroyed, and that's where the first goal came from. But in any case, in the first 2 minutes of the game, as soon as the game starts, I'm excited because I see Neto do 2 great runs that you would expect a number 9 to do, running in behind. As soon as the midfielder took on the ball, he did the runs to split the center backs or run into the channel, keeping them on their toes, which was amazing. Minute 6, another injury. Trevor Chalobah. He's injured for us now. So that sucks. But I like tossing at Arabioyo. However, that leaves us pretty thin in the back, and we might see him at Champong. Because of the nature of the injury, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what the hell happened. But it wasn't like... It was a really weird one. It felt like when I sprain my back, when I get like a back spasm. I hope that's not what it is because that sucks and it takes a long time to recover from. Because it seemed to be like this pain in his rib area and his side or something like that. And that wasn't very good. And that worries me a little bit. But in any case, Tosin comes in, and I was kind of okay with that. And then immediately in the 8th minute, Enzo scores a goal from an amazing Pedro play. He does what wingers are called to do. Takes on his man, beats it, shifts the back line. We're not obligated to run back, but he cuts in and he puts in a pass. And Enzo Fernandez does what offensive players are supposed to be in the right spot, ready for a tap-in. He didn't even have to attack the first post, which is what you would see a forward or striker do, but it was good enough. And we're off to the races, and that ruined. And actually, at that moment, for the next few minutes, I'm invested, as I haven't been in a few games already with Chelsea, which usually like, oh, okay, yeah, goal, great goal, but we're gonna get scored on, so it's not enough. I don't get excited normally until the second or third goal because that means we can win. If we don't, we're gonna concede. I heard something crazy. We've only kept a clean sheet like in 2 matches in the last freaking 4 months, something like that. So that's not happening. But I got excited, man. I gotta admit, I got carried away. I'm like, vamos. I really enjoyed the goal. I was excited about it. And Jorgensen he made like a little mistake this far in the game, but he was playing pretty well. And, then we had we changed shapes. I don't know if that was by tactical decision or just error of the players not adjusting, but at some times we would defend with like 3 in the back and James and Caicedo providing the cover as a double pivot. So Cucurella would be left, if like Gusto was sent to bomb forward, which he had a good first half and a horrendous second half. and he got cooked a lot. But I think he was told to bomb forward, and when he did, look, we beat the line with him and with Pedro many, many times. We found a way to do the space, to create the space, and I think that worked. But overall, it wasn't great from him. But yeah, and that we had that 3-2, which always leaves me pretty worried. But I think Villa wasn't smart enough to counter that wide, as you should do with Chelsea. And maybe it's because they had the concerns of either Pedro and Malo Gusto on the right, running at them, terrifying them a little bit, because on the other side, and Nkunku on the left was really not doing much, to be honest. I did not appreciate his performance. But in any case, on the 28th minute, we're one ahead. And these are my notes at halftime, okay? Palmer's trying hard. That stands for the whole game. Palmer tried, but man, he's not doing well. He's not sharp. In the second half later, he took some shots well off, quite mid. Brother's playing mid. He's not finding his rhythm. James, I like the idea of what we're doing. Him coming into midfield is something that we've spoken about for years. We heard that he played in the younger, leagues, in the under 23s, under 21s, under 18s, whatever. He had played as a DM at times, and I'm excited to see him there because he got a lot of strength. But I did see him with a little bit of positional errors and mistakes, but we did have muscle there, and I think that was important. I've always said that we lack muscle in the middle if we leave Caicedo alone. So it was good to see that. And he's not bombing forward the way Cucurella does when he covers as a double pivot. And as always, we saw Enzo today play as, because he's supposedly the second DM. That makes no sense. He's not. Today he was switching out to almost be the false niner when we had two up front. It was him and Pedro. So he's really pushed up forward. Although I think naturally he enjoys dropping deep and playing the balls wide. And today was a game where there was an opportunity for that. Caicedo, amazing progressive play, amazing defensive play. He finds balls really well. I think he's incredibly underrated. You guys hopefully will start seeing his forward playing ability as well that he has as an 8. I wouldn't say as much as a 10, but definitely as an 8. He can play in transition really quick. If the forwards are doing the runs, he'll look up and he'll find them. And he did a couple today, and he'll do them again. So if our wingers and our striker are smart enough to run in behind as soon as he recovers, I've been calling for that. That's why I like him not too deep in the middle, but somewhere in the middle, because he'll recover, look up, and put a slicing pass right down the middle in between the center backs and find people in space. Enzo was moving well. Cucurella, quite conservative. He stayed back most of the game. Looks like this was kind of the game plan. Absolutely. Again, Pedro near perfect performance in the first half. And Nkunku was doing nothing. And I wrote down in the first half, Augusto has been really good so fast. Because in him and Pedro, there's some balls that were kicked over that you saw the Aston Villa people were like, I'm never getting to that ball. Like even thinking it's going to go out. But these SOBs didn't quit. They chased those balls down. They ran them down and they got there. So that's tough. That's tough to deal with. And that'll definitely kill your left back in this case or your center backs. They got to be on their toes. And you'll split them quite often. So a lot of that applies for the second half with the exception of, like I said, Gusto that just took a poop on the second one. And then finally, so I'm begging. Like at halftime, I'm like, Nkunku, he shouldn't have been there. And he's got to go. And you guys are going to say, well, if you're not playing Nkunku, who the hell are you going to play, sir? Well, I'll tell you who I'm going to play. I would play Tyreek George. Who cares? And I know Sancho is sucking, and he showed it today when he came on as well. So that's not much of a thing. So that's why I think it has to be Tyreek George that comes on instead. But in any case, Rashford comes in in the second half, and that's depressing to us because that's a pretty good goal scorer that we don't have one. And to see Aston Villa bring on someone like that. And another piece of news that I felt sorry for Villa is this Mings from Aston Villa. He's a great player, and I saw him get injured again, and that's tragic because I think that's a player that could have reached. I think he was called up for the national squad a couple of times. He could really reach elite levels, but it's one of these sad stories. As soon as you saw him in and they focused, I think he had like very long scars on both of his knees. He's one of these players that have struggled with injury so much, and that's kind of really tragic. And then to speak of another player that they have that I wish we did was Yef. Of course, he fell out of favor, but he was a Madrid player in the past, a PSG player. So he's got something that coaches want, and we know, which is Asensio. And really, that was all Rashford that, as soon as he came in, his presence is felt, right? He's pinning back the fullbacks. You're a little scared of him. You know he's going to take some shots on target. He finds a way. And in this case, he did well the pressure, and he found Asensio, who was in the right spot, and it's 1-1. And there was at this 59th minute, it seems. Then sort of the last positive note that I had at that point is that the midfield battle is a little scrappy. It's pretty dirty and scrappy at this point, and you see Caicedo getting into it and James getting into it, and I love to see Enzo Fernandez getting into it. He's not great in transition. He had to get his yellow. That's just the way it is. But we were scrappy. We were fighting. And I was kind of happy to see that. But once I saw Palmer take another, shot or two, and I think 75th minute, like Caicedo gives him an amazing pass, and he could have finished in one shot. He doesn't. Then he sort of takes another touch. I don't know if that was lack of confidence, and takes another. Because back in the day, he would have just, as soon as that ball came, looked up and boop, boop, and chipped the keeper, or just slash left and smacked it in the goal, or even the ballsy down the post, like give him the eyes to the wide shot and take it to the first post. Any of those versions of goals that we've seen him doing, but he's not there, man. It didn't work out for him. So after that, Sancho comes in for Nkunku, so nothing came off and nobody came on. Really, what that means. And then at 1 minute, I was concerned because Bailey was coming in and we started looking a little bit cooked in transition, and Gusto was cooked, and I was really worried that Bailey was coming in, Ollie Watkins was coming out. And sadly, also, another thing to mention, Jorgensen, amigo mío, we've been rooting for you so hard. And the goal that you can see, that second goal, is tragic. Uh-oh, it's tragic. Man. I know the song doesn't go that way, but you know what I mean. And he, such an easy shot goes under him, a fairly easy shot that goes under him. And that's really really shad for the guy. And he did give up one ball. 1 minute prior to that, he does an amazing save when they get a one-on-one. And then in the second, look, sorry, Jorgensen, it was a shitter of a match. But I think you have the right to shit the bed a couple of matches because that's what the number one goalkeeper got. So maybe you come back from this one and, we'll keep giving you a chance. I don't think anybody wants Sanchez. No matter what he shaves, he can shave his bald head or his bowels or his head or his ears, his nose. It doesn't matter. We don't want him yet. You would have to do this a couple more games before we hit you too. So at least I'm going to give you an option. And then after we've conceded that goal, and nothing's going to happen. We're back into this Chelsea collapse sort of a thing. It's not looking good. I don't know why Gusto wasn't taken off at this point, because once the player's is so lost, is getting cooked. And I think a lot of it had to do with a little bit of lack of coverage at that point in organization. We did see some faults and people sort of figuring out exactly what we're doing for the system. And part of that must have, I think James and Palmer had a little bit just of where they are at any given time. That cost them a little bit as well, leaving them exposed. But maybe, I don't know why a champon wasn't brought in, 60th minute, maybe, something like that, 70th minute. It could have been a good idea, maybe. I don't know how the coach feels. Maybe he's a little bit too young for a game like this to come in with that responsibility on one side of the pitch that's getting a lot of pressure. But there was some movements. We did have the young. I'd like to see Roxaki more, because that's another option where you could have put a very conservative, don't bomb forward, Reece James to the right on the right back slot, and bring in Roxaki as a double pivot just to sit back and allow Moises Caicedo to play a little bit more offensively, or changes like that. But in any case, it wasn't a terrible thing. I think I didn't see much action any time after that. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. That's as far as I'm going to go today. I'm not going to make it that long. Please smash the like button. Those of you who are watching, I know I'm just growing as a channel right now, but please subscribe. I'm very excited. This has been the biggest week we had. It's tragic that I'm getting all these subscriptions this week and people subscribing, mostly because of the video that I made about the upcoming protest on Tuesday. So it's like bad news for Chelsea is getting me the biggest amount of subscriptions that I've gotten ever. I got it this week. In any case, thank you so much to those of you who subscribed this week. I'm gonna work really hard every week. I promise to do better, bring you cool material, and also not be one of these people that just lose their mind and start insulting everybody. It doesn't make any sense, and they're just bitching and moaning and complaining all the time about the team. I'm actually trying to be hopeful, trying to find the positives, but we have to call out the things we saw poorly. And there was quite a few towards the end today. And I don't think even that poor. It's just that people are not at the level where they need to be, with a couple of exceptions that we mentioned. So in any case, thank you very much. Please subscribe. And, I'll try to see if I make a video. I'm going to do my best to watch, I think, the Man City Liverpool. That's a note for you Chelsea fans. I feel so depressed. Isn't it tragic that I can't, I haven't watched much Champions League. We haven't been in it for so long since we won it, pretty much. And there was this amazing match. I went back and rewatched the Madrid City because I get off on watching City lose and Pep Guardiola. But what a masterclass by Ancelotti. Really, 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 really. Go watch that. Go, guys, watch it or look at some videos as to why, or maybe I'll see if I can link something in here. Vinicius dropping so deep just to create space and movement, and an amazing game from Mbappe. But wonderful stuff. In any case, I'm going to try to watch that game, the Liverpool City game, which I hope to see Liverpool just destroy City and put a nail in their coffin. Because at this point, we're competing with top 4 with those fools. So I don't want them doing well. And on top of it, I don't like the supremacy that they had so long. So I'm kind of going for Liverpool this year. So please leave your comments, any ideas, anything you guys want me to possibly make a video on. And as always, to all the Chelsea players and Chelsea fans, come on, you Blues.